Welcome to our Wednesday, January 17th meeting of the Lenox Selectboard. Filming or recording is Clarence Fancher from Berkshire Eagle, and CTSB is filming. Announcements from the chair. I have a couple very important things we needed to, I just want to get out there now. This coming Tuesday, January 23rd, there's going to be a meeting here at Town Hall. And Weston and Sampson, our engineers we hired for our consultants and all their expert help on the rest of the river cleanup, is going to be discussing what they've come up with so far on mainly on their transportation plan. And the reason we're doing this is because we want people to be very well informed, ask questions, understand what's happening, so they can either give us questions to submit to EPA or submit their own questions to EPA. That has to be done. The comments are due February 1st, so that has to be done. So the more information you can get, be here. It's the more informed you are, the better questions you can ask. So it's a very important meeting. So again, this is on the website now. This invitation.
Ed, what time will it be?
It's going to be at 6 to 8 o'clock on Tuesday, January 23rd. And there's a QR code that you can scan, get more information, and also list if you're going to be in attendance. We want to know who's going to be there if we can. So just go to the town website. This will be there. Scan the QR code, and hope to see you then, Tuesday, January 22nd. Again, it's Weston and Sampson, our experts in the field, and they're going to help us present this in a kind of relaxed setting so people can understand it.
Ed, can I just make an additional comment?
Yeah.
If you're signed up for Code Red as a citizen of Lenox, you would have gotten that automatically as a text message or an email tonight. So just to let people know that if you're signed up for Code Red, you're going to get bulletins like this sent directly to your phone or to your email.
And so the other thing I want to say, and this I'm going to read this actually because I want to get this right, concerning the same thing. As for the select board, we're posting a draft technical memo from Weston and Sampson on our website Monday, January 22nd. That memo will be available on our website through January 31st for residents to read. And then at our meeting on January 31st, we will be approving our own comments on the T&D plan for the board's submittal to EPA on February 1st. So we'll have all the information we have to go by Monday, and this board will decide if we want to go with those comments and send them in. So remember, be here if you can. Be here Tuesday, January 23rd. There'll be a lot of good information there. So this is the important time to get all that out there because it's kind of do or die as far as these comments go. So it's important. So we'll move on. Acceptance of the minutes of January 3rd.
So I move to accept the minutes of January 3rd.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Citizens Open Forum. Anybody here to speak on Citizens Open Forum? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Roach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The consent agenda is seasonal population increased estimation. Per MGL Chapter 138, Subchapter 16, the board has estimated the seasonal population as of July 2024 will be 10,000. Donation acceptance, Police Department. Chief Stephen O'Brien is seeking permission to accept a monetary donation to the Lenox Police Department. And a one-day wine and malt license for Canyon Ranch requests a one-day wine and malt license for a meal with guest chef at Canyon Ranch located at 165 Kemble Street on February 17th from 4 till 10 p.m. Guest chef at Canyon Ranch located at 165 Kemble Street on February 17th, 4 to 10. MMA voting. Mary Beth Mitz will attend the MMA conference and has the opportunity to vote at the MMA annual business meeting. Members will consider two resolutions, one on the state-local fiscal partnership and the other on climate change and resilience.
And I'll put a hold on that.
You got it.
Do you want to do the hold first?
Sure, go ahead, and we can.
Yeah, first, I'm going to turn this over to Mary Beth to explain what she's doing. But I want to thank Mary Beth for, she always does these things. This is time-consuming, a lot of effort, a lot of work, so thank you for that.
Sure.
So explain to us what you're doing.
Sure, so I'll be attending the Mass Municipal Association Conference in Boston Friday and Saturday this weekend. And that basically gathers all the select board members, municipal officials, employees of towns and jurisdictions within Massachusetts to share information, learn about updates to specific things that are going on in the state of Massachusetts. And at our business meeting, which is going to be held on Saturday, January 20th, there are 2 resolutions that attendees will be voting on. One is a proposed resolution supporting an enduring fiscal partnership between cities and towns and the Commonwealth for fiscal '25 and beyond. And the other, a proposed resolution supporting local, state, and federal partnerships to address climate change, enhance resilience, and bolster adaptive initiatives. You can go to the Mass Municipal Association to read about this in depth, but what this basically talks about in both of these resolutions is that the municipalities are looking for the state's fiscal support in helping us to address everything from the way in which we fund our local services and schools to the way in which we respond to climate adaptation when we have these downpours and maybe there's local flooding, the fact that we need more money for culverts and small bridges and all of that. And so basically we're looking just to make this resolution as a group of municipalities to tell the state, hey, if you're going to mandate that we do these things with our local property taxes, we could use a little bit more financial support.
Yeah, two great resolutions. And again, thank you for doing it. The first one, it's basically, if you're going to tell us how to do things, help us out with the funding.
Right.
And the other one is just, because times have changed with this
Right.
climate thing, so, you know, we
Yeah,
you
I mean,
never
there's,
know what it's going to, Mother Nature's going to throw at us now.
right, culverts are washing out left and right, and small rural communities are really hit hard because we probably have more of those culverts and small bridges, and I think that they usually allocate about $250 million a year for that. Well, there's probably 100 culverts in Lenox and Lee alone, and that's $100 million right there, because each culvert is about $1 million to do the engineering studies and all the construction. So we really, we're looking at 351 jurisdictions in Massachusetts. $100 million does not serve 351 jurisdictions with small bridges, and that's just one issue, so.
Yeah, please.
Smitty and I talked about this probably 5-6 years ago. Is there any subset within the MMA that's representative of small and rural communities as compared to dense communities? Because the state sort of applies standards based on population and other things, and Smitty and I had always been talking about they should bifurcate the rules, and in rural areas it should be more like per mile of road or other things, because we get unfairly, it feels to me that we're unfairly limited in the amount of money that we receive because of population density.
There are very specific call-outs in each one of these resolutions to address those challenges specific to rural communities, from everything from vocational transportation, roads and bridges, miles of roadway, construction, repaving. So yes, there's a very strong contingency in western Massachusetts, not just Berkshire County, but Franklin and Hampden counties. And whenever we get together for the legislative updates, the people that come out from the state get an earful about everything from payments in lieu of taxes for state-owned land to, you know, these roadway issues and school transportation and regional school districts. So it's a lot. There's a lot of balls in the air for rural jurisdictions, and believe me, we're always talking about it to this state. I think that elected officials do what they can, but Senator Mark has, probably the largest geographic coverage of any senator, and the poor guy's got 3 counties, Franklin, Hampden, and Berkshire, and he's one voice against everybody to the east of us, so it's a lot, but Smitty's doing a great job, Representative Farley Bouvier is doing a great job, Senator Mark's doing a great job, so, we thank them for their service to us, and all I can say is, I fire off letters every now and then, doesn't hurt to fire off letters. Not that it's going to get us anywhere, but the more we talk, the more they listen, so.
That's it. Okay, so we'll.
I'll make a motion then. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next under general business is a follow-up to the fiscal 2025 budget. Mr. Ketchum, what have you got to follow up on?
I've really only got 3 updates. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be honing in on a final board number. However, I will say that since our last meeting, the A&F at the state, sorry, that's the Administration and Finance Secretariat of the state, as well as the House and Senate budget writers, have agreed on a consensus revenue figure of 2% over FY24, while not as much as we had hoped. It does match the assumptions that we have around state aid in our plan. So the revenue that they're projecting as being available matches where we're forecasting state aid in our financial plan for FY25. It doesn't mean that that's what state aid will be. We expect to hear more at the end of the week at MMA from the governor, who's speaking on what local aid might look like when her budget is finalized. So stay tuned on those numbers, but there was nothing in the consensus revenue figure that would throw us off of our track. And Berkshire Health Group is going to be meeting soon to vote on rates, so we should have that figure, and we'll subsequently be able to incorporate that into our final numbers. The Lenox representation on that board will be pushing hard for a lower rate increase than the 8% we've assumed in our preliminary budget. So to the extent that it comes in less than 8%, we should see some improvement on our tax impact. So those are the 3 updates that I have. But I mean, we have the agenda item. I can answer any questions, or we can wait for the fun on the 31st. Your call.
I don't have any specific questions, just fingers crossed on the that one item. All right, go from there.
Okay. That'd be great.
Neil?
Yeah, no, here's what we presented last time, so I appreciate your updates. I think when we next meet, we hope to have a better idea of the cost drivers from the various departments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else on that? We're good?
Yep.
So new and old business. And I'm going to again turn this over to, it's the Mary Beth Smith show tonight. A letter of support was requested by the CDBG Housing Rehab Program. The board approved the application of the grant program at 1/3/24 regular meeting. So Mary Beth, explain what we're going to.
Sure. So basically, we had a public hearing at the last meeting for this community development block grant housing rehabilitation program. Tonight, I have brought to you a letter that we're going to need to sign as a board that will go to the Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, like as a cover letter to our application requesting $1 million. And basically, this requests that $1 million would be provided for housing rehabilitation program funds for 16 homes in the towns of Lenox and Lee, owned by low and moderate income residents. The program would make critical home repairs and allow residents to stay in their homes while ensuring that code violations are eliminated, lead paint is removed, and repairs are completed. This program is an economic catalyst as construction is done by local licensed contractors. There's a compelling need to help preserve existing housing stock, providing homes for all of our moderate income families and seniors here in the Berkshires. These funds will help stabilize our community and encourage our young workers to remain in the Berkshires. And sincerely, and we would sign it as the board. So I'm presenting this to you guys for signature this evening.
I think we'll gladly sign it. On our January 3rd meeting, we talked about it for quite a while, and it got a rousing round of support, so I think we should sign the letter and get it going if we can.
I think it's a phenomenal idea. Remind me of the woman who came and represented.
Her name is Dawn Lemon, and she is currently the program administrator for this program in Lee, Egremont, and Great Barrington. She is an employee of Bailey Boyd.
Bailey Boyd.
Yeah, she's a contractor,
East, right.
excuse me, with Bailey Boyd, and Bailey Boyd is the organization that we're completing this program application
Didn't
with.
she say something like she had 100+ applications?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just curious, does our letter with 16 sound a little anemic in
Well,
terms of how many?
16 is how much we would anticipate doing, say, in the first year. We would.
Oh,
we
be
would-
able to afford.
Right, to
Gotcha.
afford to do. However, what we're going to be looking for is people coming to some meetings that we're going to be having to get the word out about it, and we'll be collecting intake applications, which is just basically formatting a waiting list. So that when we get these funds next fall, hopefully, we'll be able to send this information out and ask people to fill out a complete application. So this gets us a strong waiting list so that our application looks even more competitive to the state.
The takeaway I got from our last meeting was it behooves anybody that wants to be involved in this to get on board as quick as they can.
Absolutely.
And you're going to work with people to
Yeah.
help them with applications.
Absolutely.
And,
And we've actually scheduled our first informational meeting at the community center for noon on February 6th. And I can't remember what day of the week that is. I could pull my phone out.
We'll blast that all over the
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, thank you. So Tuesday, February 6th, Dawn Lemon will be hosting a meeting at the community center that I will be attending. And that will be the first meeting that will be there to answer questions. Right now, the application is currently on the Town of Lenox website. It's on a banner that says "Need Home Repairs." If you just click on that banner, you can fill out a short form that will immediately populate a waiting list that we have going, and we'll have paper applications at the meeting that we'll be having on the 6th, so.
I would stress that,
friends.
having clicked through, remember we had talked at our last meeting about having it be somewhere separate than the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yeah.
And so there's the banner there, you click through, and to anybody who even contemplates it, it's literally maybe 6 things that you put in, your name, your address,
Things that-
category
yeah.
of things that you need help on. It's not a hard form, you
No.
can do it in 30 seconds.
Right.
So can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Please.
So it's between Lee and Lenox, and there's 16 homes. Is it going to be 15 in one, or 8 and 8, or?
It'll be first come, first serve. When people get the application,
Yeah.
when we would get the funding, applications will be available to everyone everyone in the town, even if you haven't done a pre-intake application. So if you were to go to the website or, come to one of the town halls, ask for the complete application packet, and if you can submit everything that day, you're number 1 on the waiting list. And you'd be the first person that, gets a write-up and an evaluation, and you're good to go. But Bailey Boyd will be doing all the application intake. They'll check to make sure you're eligible. There are some steps that have to be evaluated for that.
I'm sure.
But then it's first come, first serve, and so if you get your application in, the people who get their applications in first will go to the front of the line.
Okay, so are you doing Lee's as well?
Yes, yes. Bailey Boyd is doing everything
Yeah,
for
right,
both communities,
right.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, good stuff. So do we need a motion on this, or? is
Yeah,
Okay, I move that we sign the letter to the Massachusetts EOHLC for the Community Development Block Grant Program application.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Great.
So that concludes things. Is there any unfinished business? Anything anybody's got to offer or say?
I'm good.
So it's a relatively short meeting, but a lot of good stuff on tonight's meeting.
I have one suggestion I think
Yeah.
might be helpful is, and I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, but we might want to, Permanent Building Committee, have a meeting prior to our next meeting to see if that informs Chris's budget numbers in any way, in terms of the set-aside funds that we're doing in the reserve accounts.
Yeah, when do you want to have, we got to have Dave Prickett in. He wants to get in.
I'd like to get both Dave and Jim
Jim.
here, not for a detailed walkthrough of, pumps and pipe sizes and whatnot, but just give us a sense of where we are budget-wise versus our preliminary estimates, so that we, when we talk about the set-aside reserve funds that are incorporated into Chris's budget, we feel like we know we're not.
So you want to have that get together before the 31st?
I'd like to if we could.
I mean, we can, yeah, we can contact everybody maybe next week.
100%.
Can we do that for possibly next Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right, that's what we'll shoot for. We'll poll the other three members.
I mean,
And the
perhaps-
And the three department heads, yeah.
Yeah, and you might need to reach out to Dave and Jim first to see
Yeah.
if they can have someone available. It doesn't have to be them with a glitzy presentation, we just want to get a
It's the nuts
sense
and
of
bolts, yeah.
nuts and bolts.
Absolutely.
Are we on track? Is it looking,
Yeah, we need them here. If they're not available a certain night, maybe we can go to another night. But
Right.
We have time to put it together.
Great.
And Neil, this is for library, wastewater, and public safety?
Well, it would be primarily.
primarily wastewater and public safety?
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
The ones that are in the
Right, in the
hopper right
pipeline.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Library is kind of a reset, and we're trying to figure out what to do at
Okay.
this point.
Gotcha.
I'll also mention that CPC is reviewing applications tomorrow night.
All right.
Downstairs, 6 PM. It'll be the final decision hearing for our applications that we have for this upcoming spring.
You're doing that tomorrow night? I'll be going to the
Forgot about that.
school building committee meeting tomorrow night.
I know, I guess
Can't be everywhere.
I got like 3 possible.
Yeah, but I'll be going to that. Okay,
Goody.
anything else?
Nope, so I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.